Hello, beautiful listeners, and welcome to another episode of the Powerful Inc. Startup Stories podcast. I've been hanging out with Amanda before hitting the record button, and she's awesome, first of all. She's super fun. She's super real. She's kind of had a shitty week, so we're going to just channel a whole lot of love her way whenever you're listening to this. It's probably in the future from when we recorded, but send some love her way because she is an incredible and successful CEO of her own company that she built while working full-time and having a baby and going through the things that life will do to you, and is now running the company as her full-time job. And she just has such a raw and honest vibe. And we just clicked on such a personal level already in leading up to hitting the record for this episode. So I'm super excited to welcome Amanda Liford. Liford? I should have checked that. Liford.
Everybody pronounces it one or two ways, and I answered a both.
Yeah. Of Easy Life Organizing. So tell us about your business and a little bit about yourself, my love.
So yeah, I'm Amanda. I am Easy Life Organizing. So I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a dog mom. I have a million different side hobbies. The ones of note that people really are like, what in the world do you do? I love to golf. I used to teach golf to kids for a long time. I love to camp and hike. I love to do a sport called Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I feel like I'm a forever blue belt, but see. I also am converting a tiny school bus into a tiny home on wheels with my husband. So we have a lot of different things going on. But I also run my business now, my professional organizing business, where I help people declutter and organize their lives from a bunch of different sides, because I think really being organized kind of seeps into every aspect of our lives. And if we can be more organized, it makes our lives easier.
It does, yes, the decluttering. So I will already encourage you to go and see Easy Life Organizing on Instagram and at her website, easylifeorganizing.com, because she has these amazing before and after photos. And like, I love to organize, and I'm trained as an online business manager. So I organize like the online business office and declutter. But even as a teenager, I loved cleaning horse stalls. I was a horse girl. Loved cleaning them because the horse gets in there, makes a big mess, and you come in. For me, it was Zen practice. And so for those of you who are cringing at this, well, guess what? There's women like Amanda and I who will live for this, who breathe for this, who come to life for this. And the incredible, okay, not that I'm a fan of instant gratification, but the incredible instant gratification after a bit of sweat equity of revamping a space and refreshing it is like dropping 20 pounds at once. And it does shift the entire energy. There's a whole feng shui involved, and to create so much more spaciousness in the home, really, in the body, in everything.
And you can, and it's not just my clients who feel that way, like it feels like you're literally shedding 20 pounds, like you said, like it's like off your shoulders and you feel lighter. And what's amazing is it's not just our clients that feel that, but it's also us as a team too. Like we feel that for our clients too. Like we'll come into a project and we'll be like, all right, there's a lot here. And then we make a game plan. And at the end, we're always like, this is a million times better, and this is exactly why we do it. I will raise my hand. I realized I am addicted to downsizing and decluttering now. It has become an addiction of mine, actually, that I have to curb in my own home now.
Your husband's like, where's my last t-shirt? Donated it, you're wearing one.
Right.
Totally. And I love that energy and that beautiful feeling of being able to do that. And so when I was researching you, I was picking up pieces of the story where you talked about leveraging existing skill sets and rolling them forward. So, there's a lot of opportunity in the minimalist world. There's documentaries, and Marie Kondo, of course, like helped blow that up, put it on the map. And purging on a regular basis. If you haven't done it, you know, just pick something easy, like one small surface or one drawer in the house to start, and just observe how it feels. But for you, Amanda, like I've known this about me, the decluttering, the organizing, since I was 7, 8, 9 years old. When did you find that anchor from your soul in your journey?
So I guess I never really had I never had that epiphany,
Sure.
as a kid,
Totally.
that I really liked living more minimal. I didn't really have that epiphany. I just generally lived that way.
Okay.
Um, I grew up like, I know, and to this day, my mom loves clothes. My mom loves shoes. My mom loves purses. I still to this day can't get her to get rid of all of them.
Okay.
Um, but I just was never into collecting stuff. That was just never my thing. What really kicked off this love of being efficient and being utilizing my space to its fullest ability and everything was when I worked in automotive. I used to work
Okay.
in automotive manufacturing, and they call it 5Sing and lean systems are the two different things that a lot of automotive manufacturing facilities will use. And it's a way to, how can we be more efficient with our time? How can we have less wasted energy? How
Mhm.
can we make something that's really annoying just easier and save us, it could save us 10 seconds. There's a book called
Mhm.
10-Second Lean. If it saves us 10 seconds, how much is that saving us over the course of a year? That 10
Really
seconds every
compounding.
single time you do it, it really
Yeah.
adds up.
Yeah.
So learning about that in automotive manufacturing, I started applying it to my house.
Okay.
And I got made fun of relentlessly by my family by
Of
labeling where
course.
the bowls went in the
Yeah.
cabinet. Um, but I
So
tell everybody that
satisfying though.
nobody put the bowls in the wrong spot when they were labeled.
Yeah.
And so that started to really kick off my love of everything having a home. And
Mhm.
then,
Okay.
Marie Kondo honestly was the person that made me realize, wow, I can do this for a living and people will pay me for this.
Ah, super, super. Thanks, Marie. You birthed another one, and she's brilliant. That's so interesting. Like, if you put home organization and automotive industry beside each other, right? They may not connect until you put Amanda in the middle to
Right.
have that realization go off. And so you started doing your home, and you're still working, and now you're realizing you could get paid to do this while working, while newly pregnant, the timeline, something like that.
So I was pregnant, and that's when I started the business, was literally 1 or 2 months before my due date, because I realized that I was going to be on maternity leave, and
Oh.
I've never
Mhm.
liked sitting still. You ask
Yeah.
my husband, and he's never known me to be able to sit still. If there is any sort of lull in my life where things start to feel mundane, I start a new hobby. Um, First, it was a crafting business, and that didn't work
Oh,
out so well.
okay.
And then
Okay.
it was, I'm going to do a book, and like I'm still working on that. And then it was like,
Okay.
oh, organizing business. So
Okay. So you did dabble with a few um, warm up
yeah,
experimental. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Good.
And while I'm still working on the book, but the book's been like, I
Okay.
feel like a 10-year project now at
Sometimes
this
they are.
point.
And then they're fucking brilliant when they land. And then you're like, that's why it took so long.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. And so on maternity leave, so your son arrives, you have a bit of time, and now you start to source some clients. And like,
So
what did that look like? You just
um,
attacked people? You just went to your friends' houses and
I started my business, and because I knew I didn't want to be just sitting still.
yeah.
And then the pandemic hit.
Oh yeah,
And
sure. Right.
so yeah, so
Damn.
I started it
Mhm.
right at the beginning of 2020. I had my son in February, and then pandemic shut down. And I was like, well, I haven't really put any energy into this business yet. I guess I'll take a break.
Okay. Okay.
So I really didn't like, I started it technically, like if you look at all the legal stuff, like I started in
Oh,
2020. I really didn't start getting into it though until 2021, about halfway through
okay.
21.
Okay.
And it was literally because I was fed up with my job.
Yeah. Okay. So you go back to work. How long did you have for mat leave?
I had a wonderful 6 weeks paid mat leave, so
Yeah.
I was very fortunate to have that, and it was boring. It was really
Yeah.
boring because of the shutdown. The shutdown
Yeah.
really put a
Okay.
killer on that. I couldn't. There was no mom groups. There was no going to
Mhm.
hang out because it's the middle
Yeah.
of winter too, and nobody wants to go outside when it's cold. And
Sure.
so I got a little COVID baby who doesn't know how
Mhm.
to interact with kids, and I've got like he's delayed in his speech and everything, but we're working on it. So
Yeah. Yeah. He'll recover.
cover.
And he's got you and he's got his dad, and you know, that'll all come around. Okay. So work's boring. So then it's motivating you. So then you start building this more and more.
Right.
COVID opens up. And now
Right.
Amanda's like
So
fired up again and ready
I'm
to
fired up
go.
and going.
Yeah.
So some of my first, so I started off with doing my house first.
Okay.
I did some before and afters because I
Yeah.
live real. Like I said,
Yeah.
I'm a very real person. My house is never perfect and beautiful as much as it's only perfect and beautiful right at the end of the night before I go to bed.
Okay.
Because my husband and child will destroy it the next morning.
Uh-huh.
Um, That's how it works. So, I just started with my house and I
Yeah.
started taking before and afters of different parts of my house, and
Okay. Smart.
it was really great. I had a friend who's like, "Hey, I'm like, hey, can I help organize any part of your life because you're crazy busy, you have a side job, you're taking care of two kids, like
Yeah.
you've got this and that, like let me help you with something." So I've got some before and afters from her house. I did another friend, she worked at a library, and so she had a little office space where she needed help in
Oh,
the certain area, so I
fun.
helped that area.
Oh, good.
And so at first, like to just get good before and afters, I was just doing jobs for free for friends and family
Okay. Okay.
and myself, apparently.
Yep. Which is
And
great
then
because now like you're a product of the product and you're getting testimonials and it's real work. So I really want listeners to hear this because as startups, we may get very attached to the idea of having a paying client. But the fact of the matter is you start somewhere, and if you give it away for free, you still get a return on that.
yeah,
In it's just in a different way. It's more like an energetic return that will open up other doors and lead you to places. And
right.
I'll say, right, your friends have friends that maybe aren't your friends, but then want your services. So there's
Hmm.
all of this leveraging going on. Okay, so that's brilliant. And the before and afters, and that you were selling your house at one point in your journey, and that you did, I thought it was so smart. I'm like, oh my God, of course. There's like another kind of demographic to tap into. So Amanda did a prep your home for sale and give some really good tips on how it should present in order for people to picture themselves living in it. So you can, again, find that on her Instagram. So these are different ways that she is, like I said, being a product of the product and creating the proof before paying clients. So then this starts to shift some momentum and
So I start getting paying clients. I'm posting about it on. I
Mhm,
mean, I put my website up.
mhm,
I did a slight rebrand. So when I first started the business, I had one logo, which
mhm,
was not cute. Looking back, was not good. I totally spent way too much of my time trying to rebrand myself, and
mhm,
so I did a whole same name, just different logo, different
right.
colors. And so fell in love with the new one that I have, which is now my existing one.
Oh, you're so cute.
Um,
Nice. She's wearing it. Oh, they can't see. It's going to be audio, but she's
fair
wearing
enough.
it and showing the logo.
Um, and so start getting I'm promoting myself, like I'm telling my friends about it, I'm telling my family members about it, I'm telling, like I was very open, I told my coworkers about it,
Yes,
and
yes, yes. Spread the good word. Spread the
I
good
spread
word.
the good word. And anybody that would ask me, about what do I do, that just became part of it. By the time that I had decided that I was fed up with work and
Mhm,
my full-time job,
mhm,
um, and I just was ready to be my own boss and pursue this full time, I had made a mental shift, and this would probably
Yes.
help so many people because it really was a complete mind shift for me. Is when people would ask me, "What do you do?" I used to tell people, "I'm the operations director for blah blah blah. I do blank blank blank, all the millions of things." Um, my mental shift was, I'm a professional organizer and I own Easy Life Organizing.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of saying what my full-time position was, I shifted to what my business was.
Yeah.
And that kind of shifted my priorities a little bit more and kind of shifted so many things mentally for me that it felt amazing to say it. And so I kept saying it.
Cool. That's fantastic. That is so beautiful. So there's a lot of talk of like mindset in starting a business, and you grow as fast as your business can only grow as fast as you do, and all these sorts of things. But one thing that I have observed from mentors that I follow and people that I interact with is once you do make that decision, things start to shift. And owning it, really owning it, and being ready to step further into what it is that you desire will help close gaps to create that reality, right? So that is such an easy thing. And as you say that, I'm like, oh my God, yeah. I I work in local government, and so everybody's like a pensioner and just, oh,
Mhm.
pensionable days and benefits and this and that. And I just hedge saying anything to them about my online business because of all of the thing, like the judgment, the lack of understanding. I don't really want to have to explain a whole lot. And I am a little bit like, ooh. But in other places outside of work, I'm like, yeah, man, I'm the CEO of Powerful Inc. And we get startups started, and, we empower and heal our wounds and just live like a free and happy life sort of thing. So thank you, because that's like a little gift and a little nudge to me of just, acclimatizing to what it is that you say you desire.
Yes, it really is. And I thought, and for a little bit of time there, like I didn't tell my boss or my
Yeah. Okay.
coworkers like anything about it at first. And then something shifted and I'm like, I want to tell them. Like it's important to me. Like I'm not telling them, oh,
You're
I'm
quitting
putting more.
or
Right. I didn't go at it that way. I'm like, hey, just want to let you know I started a side business and I'm a
Mhm.
professional organizer on the side now. And so,
Mhm.
if there's ever anything you guys need in that realm, let me know.
Mhm.
If there's something I can
Mhm.
help with or yada yada yada. And so it was really nice to be able to tell them about it and
Yeah.
then be able to be upfront with it. It felt really good because, it sucks that in the position I had, I could be sitting there doing normal full-time work and then get a
Mhm.
call from my business number. And so like I would answer, and so like instead of me literally feeling like I have to leave the whole room now, be like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, like I can answer it and be
Yeah.
open about this
Not
now.
hiding
And
anything, fully
I
owning
don't want
it.
to hide anything.
Yeah. And then also, you don't know what opportunities will come, because you mentioned a friend with an office. So there's corporate opportunities there too. And people who wouldn't think of it will buy from people they know, like, and trust. And boom, Amanda Liford's already a rock star in her job. Could probably be a rock star doing this for us too. Super, super,
Exactly.
super. And it makes it more real. And so that's probably, where I can hedge and where others may be hedging, because we say we want it, but then when we're a little bit tested, are we going to
Yeah.
embody it a little bit more, 5 to 3% more, right? And slowly compounded, it bleeds in and becomes 100% or more.
Right.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And
So
so now, since 2021 to now, you're full-fledged, you've quit, you're making a sustainable income. What was that price point like, that revenue point like? How did, like, the confidence in yourself to know that you could produce your own income consistently?
I sat down and did our personal finances, and I said, okay, I currently make roughly $3,000 a month in income, right, for my full-time job back then. And I said, and we looked at our finance and said, okay, we could get by with the way our, back then we could get by with, really, like, I just had to make an extra $500 a month. And that was really to pay for like our gas and our groceries and stuff like that. And my husband's job could pay for the bulk of the everything else until like the business started to get better. So we gave up myself a goal of, okay, if I can show that I can net at least $3,000 a month for, I think we said 3 months, we could talk again, reevaluate things, and just see if this is a realistic thing, because I'm not the kind of person to just be like, bye guys, I just started this last week, I'm gone. Not that kind of person.
Right? Security is important, and financial security is important.
So important, especially when you have a little one. You don't want to just say bye to the wind. And so I was able to do that. I did that consistently, and then we followed back up with, and we talked more. And at this point when we talked, I actually started bringing people into the business already, because I was getting so busy that I couldn't keep up with it on my own. I was actually not making, I can't make enough money on my own to sustain what I need. So like, I literally need more people in my business to get the money I need. So we're like, okay, well, we're netting, more than what our goal was, let's figure out what this new timeline is. We have a couple things that we want to pay off, blah, 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 blah. Let's do this. I'm like, okay. So let's see here. We had revisited it around February of 22. Yes, around February of 22, we had revisited, kind of made a new goal. Like, let's just see how the next month or so goes. And then like, let's start to figure out a timeline, because my husband was so supportive of me doing this. He loved that I was passionate about it. He loved that I was doing something that got me out of the situation I wasn't really happy with in the moment. And so in the springtime, we talked about it again. We're like, okay, we're ready. Let's do this. And I kind of had cold feet for a couple reasons.
Sure.
It's so incredibly hard. Like, everybody's like, yep, you're good to go. And I'm like, now I'm cold feeding this, because I don't have confidence in myself. And on the side, the summertime in my previous position, the summertime was the most busiest time for us. And so, and I worked with children specifically as well. And so I had, over the course of my, I worked in a nonprofit for roughly 8 years, and I've worked with this specific nonprofit and these specific kids for roughly 4 or 5 years. And so I had a very close connection with all of the kids that I worked with. So it was going to be very hard. And I'm like, I don't want to just give a 1 month notice and say bye, because I'm in charge of this program and this program, and I literally have nobody to hand it off to. So I decided, I did something, and I was like, this could come back to bite me in the butt, but if it does, it's okay, because the worst they can say is, we're firing you right now. That's literally the worst they could do. And I'm okay from the business point. And so I told them, I go, hey, I've got that professional organizing business, and I'm looking to put more of my time and energy into that. This full-time job, as much as I love it, I'll still be able to do all of the responsibilities that I have that you've given me. But it's not my main priority anymore. My business is my number 1 priority now. You are number 2. I'll still get most of my job duties done. It might take me a smidge longer, but you guys are used to getting things well before you need them anyway. But the business is my number 1 priority. So when it comes to scheduling or anything like that, If there's any sort of conflicts, because I already have something on my business schedule, the business comes first. Anything I've currently told you up to right now that I am going to do, I will continue to do, which was all of my classes that I had scheduled all through the summertime, and different meetings and different, all that kind of stuff. So I said, that's on my schedule, you know, that's not changing. But at this point, moving forward, anything new coming in, I can't guarantee that I'll be able to help with that, because my business is my number one concern right now.
Amazing.
And so I had that conversation with them. And then I think maybe a month later, I told them, hey, you know, I'm giving you my 3-month notice. I'm getting through the summertime, and then I'm going to give you 1 month of no classes where we can, like, I can show you how I'm doing all the other administrative stuff.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And did you maintain full-time hours throughout that period, or did you scale back a little bit?
So I'll be very honest. I was in a salary position. So I was in a little bit more of a unique position to where I was getting paid a salary, and as long as I got my job responsibilities done, they didn't care when I was doing the work, where I was doing the work. So it was a lot of block scheduling in my life was happening. And I talk a lot about that. So I literally, like, a lot of people think about block scheduling for your day specifically.
Yeah.
And I would do that.
Yeah.
But I would have to block schedule my entire week
Sure.
so that I could say Monday, my sole only thing that's my highest priority is my full-time job. Wednesday's my full-time job. Yeah. Tuesday's the business, Thursday's the business, Friday is the school bus, Saturday is the business again, and then Sunday is my 1 day off. And so I would have to do that. Late night working on my laptop, that still happens. That doesn't change. But late nights trying to meet deadlines, just really making sure I committed to my schedule. And making sure that I did what I said I was going to do. That way I could leave my full-time job on a good note. And then it really set me up for success after I left.
So there is so much gold, and I'm going to see if I can rightfully, honorably point some of this out so that, you know, the ones who are listening can really appreciate. So Amanda is a home and office and space organizer, but you also really put that into practice as you prepared to transition your life, which impacted 2 other living people who are part of a financial agreement and a love agreement in terms of, you know, quality time and needs and desires to be with you, spend time with you. And you planned out a large strategy from like several months, like 6 to 8 months, I think, if we trace back some of that timeline, right? And a lot of conversation with impacted parties being the job and the home. Yeah.
And instead of just kind of tiptoeing around it, like, even there was people when I was talking about leaving, I'd tell friends and other people, and they're like, are you sure you want to do that? Like, tell your boss that they're not your number one priority anymore. Like, are you sure you want to do that? And I'm like, yes, I would much rather be open and honest and do the things that make my conscience feel good. Like, I don't want to tiptoe around it or make them feel like I'm taking advantage of them in some sort of way, or leaving them out to dry. I want to be very upfront and honest with the situation as it's happening, because that didn't always happen for me.
Okay.
So I want to be the person that I wish I had. I want to be that mentor, be that leader. I want to be that person. And even right now, as the owner, I continuously think about, you know, what were the struggle points that I had as an employee, with
Uh-huh.
my superior. And so I think about it from their point of view. I'm like, okay, I was always really frustrated when my boss would not get back to me or just ignore me entirely. And I'm
Mhm,
like, nope, not doing that now. So
mhm. So that's like the CEO mindset from the get-go, right?
yes,
And
my brain works really well that way,
mhm.
with the CEO mindset and this more leader instead of boss mentality. I've never wanted to be someone's boss. I want to
Or
be a
even
leader and
like
a
your own
mentor.
boss, like you're really building a robust business that in theory you could sell this business as it is. And there's a few other things I want to talk about, and I'm just going to land them so I don't forget, is how are things going now? And what's different ish with your business is that you're more of like an in-person type of thing, but then you have some online stuff too, right? And that's an important conversation because the internet is pretty saturated with online coaches and this sort of thing. And I like that your product is a little bit outside of that. It's a little more diverse and so has some different operational elements to it. So, how did you, if you did, groom yourself and feed that CEO side of yourself? Did you hire a coach? Was there a course? Was there books? Was there journaling? What does Amanda as the CEO look like in um, giving yourself space to grow in that role or
So
fertilizer?
I have not, and it's something that's a goal of mine in this year is I actually have not truly invested in a business or a personal like life coach. I've not
Mhm.
invested in that yet. Um this I guess the CEO mindset, and I have great community actually around me. I've always believed in listening to what other people have to say because they're not saying it just to, you know, shoot the shit. They're telling you something because they have learned this along the way. And so I am a huge proponent of learning from people's mistakes because I don't want to waste time and energy. I'm
Uh-huh.
extremely efficient. I want to just like, okay, I'm going to do that. Um, Steve Harvey has a quote of nothing is achieved in your comfort zone. And that was a big thing of mine as well. And so I had to get out of my comfort zone of being introvert and talk to other people, talk to other business owners. You wouldn't know this from like me talking
No,
right now, but I
yeah.
naturally just want to just binge play Zelda on the Switch and just sit here. Like, that's what I want to do. But I can flip the switch and it's a lot easier with more practice. So the mindset
Yes,
of
yes.
nothing is achieved by staying in your comfort zone. Nothing great is achieved by staying in your comfort zone. That really
Mhm,
resonated with me. And so I had to
mhm.
ask myself, what can I do today that is going to move my business forward that gets me out of my comfort zone? And so a lot of the time, I literally Google search networking groups, trying to find
Okay.
like, people to network with.
Yeah.
And I found one and I go there because I signed up and they're like, oh, who invited you? I'm like, nobody. I found you on Google and I wanted to come meet you guys. And
Awesome. That's so
I've had,
smart.
yeah. And
And
so,
it's not easy, right? Like the opportunities are there if you go looking for them. And if that sounds too daunting, then I would say you scale it back and you practice with the clerk at the grocery store, the bank teller, your child's teacher, your neighbor, these easy, small, light interactions where you can just practice that skill because it's like a muscle and you have to use it to improve it.
right. And now I have a few different networking groups that I'm in because I really believe that, while I do get some of my business through like paid leads and stuff,
Okay. Like the
I get a
marketing
lot more
side and
credibility. I get a lot more credibility and a lot better quality leads when they are through people who know me, through those networking interactions, through those referral partners that I have now. And it's been completely different. I have a full community like behind me that
Amazing.
I can lean on now,
Yeah.
and it makes my life easier.
And gives you like-minded people to hang out with, right? So that you can have a conversation that makes sense. We couldn't have this conversation necessarily, you never know, but you know, it at the grocery store checkout as an example, like maybe it leads into something else. But people who are in the same industry, and not the organizing industry, but the entrepreneurial industry, so that you have relatability and shared lessons and shared experiences, a place to celebrate wins, a place to express frustration, a place to learn new things and be perhaps like made aware of areas of work for self or of new opportunities, all those things. So you've done a fabulous job of building this. And hello, no coach, no this, no that. And that is awesome, because that is what worked for you, right?
Right.
So
And it doesn't work for everybody. And I
exactly.
really, and I really believe that, like, if you're having troubles with these areas, and that's like a whole nother side of things that I didn't even touch on, is like, ask for help.
Yeah,
Knowing, and that's always the hardest thing for me, is asking for help. You can ask my husband, you can ask my family, my friends,
right.
my my employees will tell you. My hardest difficulty is asking for help. And once I learned that I'm going to save myself headache, time, energy, all the 9 yards, if I just ask for help
Mhm.
from somebody who knows it more than it's going to come out way better. So I do have somebody that I go to for general business help on helping me like achieve some of my goals. I do have somebody that helps me, on the finance side. I have somebody that I can turn to for marketing help that's not within my team, but like an exterior person who's helped me with my brand and shaped me now
Mhm.
from a brand perspective. So I'm learning that I just have to ask somebody who knows something more than I do, and
There you go.
it's working out so well so far.
Right. You don't have to be all the things in your business. We do for a little while, but then we can also find others who can help fill those gaps, and not necessarily at a monetary exchange, to support us and complement our strengths with theirs.
Hmm.
Huge.
Yeah.
So now you're in an established business, you're making over 100,000 a year. What are you doing to, do you have somebody who manages the businessy things like the admin and the operations? Are you doing that, or what have you put in place so that your business can serve you while you serve others?
So I'm still that person right now, actually.
Okay.
So I do the jobs. I also handle all the admin stuff.
Mhm,
I
mhm,
am a virtual assistant who
mhm.
helps me with a good number of my admin stuff, but she also helps me with about half of my marketing stuff.
Good.
Um, and this quarter, I'm starting to get more of my team involved with more of the admin stuff. I've
Okay.
got somebody who just comes to do inventory every single week, and that's her
Okay.
job. Is she'll do inventory and make purchases, and that is a
Okay.
huge weight off my shoulders.
Yeah.
um, I'm getting somebody acquainted with being able to do more communication with clients for me on literally just scheduling when things will happen,
Okay.
lead calls, stuff like
Mhm,
that, because where I want to be able to focus my time and energy is I do want to still do organizing jobs, but I have somebody
mhm,
who's training to lead more of those.
mhm,
But where I really flourish is the connecting, the networking, the presentations, the
mhm.
consultation side, explaining to people in person or face to face like this
Okay.
how I can help them, figuring out which way I need to take it, because
Mhm,
I'm not a cookie cutter person, if you
mhm.
haven't can't tell. Um and so I don't have a cookie cutter approach. Like my approach is going to be different than any other organizer. My niche is different than every other organizer, and my brand is completely different from every other organizer. The way I approach it, my pricing, everything is different. And
Okay.
I think the way that I have formatted my business
Mhm.
makes me extremely unique to give people the best possible experience, um, without being pushy or corporate-y
Mhm,
either. It's
mhm,
very
mhm. To
sit
listen.
down. I want to listen
Personable.
to them. I
Yeah.
want to know what their goals are, how they currently live. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not going to recommend, oh, we're going to put the mail system here because it's going to look really great there. You've got
Right.
mail that's over here, cluttering up your counter right there. It's got to, your mail system has to be at some point between that pile and the door you enter from. It's got to
Yeah.
be somewhere in that walking area. Nowhere else is it going to go, because anywhere else it's not going to work.
Going to throw off the rhythm of the existing ecosystem, if you will,
Right.
that is the
I don't,
home.
yeah,
So
I
you're
don't
coming
want
in
to
to
give,
match their vibe rather than impose this this, you know, like you said, cookie cutter approach to everybody. Every house is different, therefore every organizing system is different, and it has to work for the user, not for you.
exactly.
So,
And I, and that's exactly it. I've heard horror stories
yeah,
about other people who've hired other organizers, both locally and like everywhere else too. And it always comes down to like, I still couldn't find things. And I'm like, that's
yeah,
because it wasn't designed for your brain. I just did somebody's digital files a couple weeks ago, and
okay,
I spent time with her to figure out how her brain works when she goes to look for a specific file.
yeah,
You know, the way I would have organized it for myself would have
hmm,
been different. There would have
hmm,
been some slight variations, but the way that her brain works, I made it work for her brain, and now she can find everything
yeah,
so easily.
yeah,
I tell people paperwork, if it takes you more than 1 minute to find a specific document you're
yeah,
looking for,
yeah,
you've got the wrong system.
big
It should
time.
take you less than a minute to find a document if you everything's in the files.
Well, and digital clutter is overlooked because it's digital,
Right. Nobody
right?
thinks about it.
No, you don't, or
It's
you
just
just don't. It doesn't take up space, but it takes up energy. And I've been in Google Drives that, like, if you were to hire a team member or need to collect all your tax paperwork, or even find your incorporation papers because you're applying for a grant, and it's just super chaotic. It looks like some of your before pictures. That business isn't serving you, and it isn't functioning in a lather, rinse, repeat type of rhythm,
Mhm.
right? And that's going to clog up the rest of the system.
I almost like very similar to that 10-second lean, like,
Yeah.
hey, let's find your last electricity bill. Where is your last electricity bill? Like, I could ask
Yes.
somebody that, and they would either say, I have no idea.
Mhm.
I'd have to like, who knows? And it would take them forever to find it or even explain to me where it's at. And I can tell people right away, well, I don't have a paper version of it because it's in this folder in my email. Anytime I get an email notification, it's right there.
It's
Like,
the third one down, and it has a green checkbox behind it because I've already paid it.
this is done.
It's so great. I don't often meet another organizer, so I'm having the time of my life here. And for those of you who might be a little bit like freaked out or whatever, dudes, we are gifts in your world. We're the yin to your yang. So don't sweat
I
it.
I think I have I think I might have broken my team member today when I told her, I'm like, yeah, I'm like, do you know how many emails I get in my inbox and like in a day? And
Mhm.
she's like, no. I'm like, well, in my business email, I get like 100 emails a day. Like on average, I average about
Mhm.
100 emails a day. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. She's like, who are all these emails from? I'm like, everybody for everything. Is
Yeah.
literally is literally how it goes. And I'm like, that's not even my personal email. My personal email gets about 50 emails a day,
Yeah.
but I need to go through and unsubscribe again because
Yep.
life
Purge
happens
it
and
out.
now I have all these
Purge
other
it out.
subscriptions.
Yep.
But Yeah, but it's so satisfying to go from
Yes.
100 emails in your inbox to like
Yes.
10 is the
Yes.
most satisfying thing in the
Yes.
world.
And for me, we're really nerding out now. Even just labeling them and filing them, it's just like I feel like maybe like the post office. Picture the post office, mail's coming in from all over, and you're just sorting it like a ninja into where it
Oh yeah,
belongs.
that's
You know, the quote comes to mind: "A place for everything and everything in its place." And but part of that practice for me has included a bit of relaxing other areas where it's not as necessary. So my example, and this may break our friendship, Amanda, which will be devastating. And I say this because I saw your son's onesies in the drawers with the labels. Is so fantastic. And I was doing that sort of style with my underwear drawer, and then I just was like, this is taking too much time, and the compounded time that I'm spending folding my underwear and my sock. I still bundle the socks, but I just stuff them in there now. And you guys, like, I'm
honestly,
41. This was hard at the beginning. It's way less hard now. It's still a system.
honestly, I think I am the one and only professional organizer in existence that will tell you don't bother folding your underwear or socks or bras. If you look in my drawer right now, there is dividers now. So like all my
Okay.
socks are
Yep.
in one part, all the underwear another
Yep.
part. There's like dividers in my drawers, but
Mhm.
none of it's folded. It is just thrown
Fantastic.
into each of those sections because let's be real, who has time to fold their underwear like that? I don't. I have I have no time to do that. And I feel like it would take me only 5 minutes to fold my underwear.
Yeah.
It's fine, but I would rather
Yeah.
spend 5 minutes with my son. I would rather spend 5 minutes, doing the dishes real quick because that's going to drive me insane. So I ended up getting rid of all my colorful socks and now I just have all black socks.
It's
And
everything
so I
matches.
don't need to fold them. I just grab
Yeah.
two black socks and I walk
Perfect.
out the door.
That's an efficiency. That is such a beautiful efficiency. And
I
even
went
having
very
a,
Steve Jobs with that.
yeah. So this is great. So it normalizes and again goes to show the custom, but like being organized doesn't mean being rigid, I think is really the sentiment that we can start to wrap up this beautiful conversation that, I hope we chat again in the future. And I definitely look forward to our online friendship. But that when you bring organization around, you have more flow, you have more spaciousness, and it's just easier to do things. And that is what feels really good and important to apply in our business instead of like this pressurized type of energy, that things will come with intention, action, mindset, awareness, support, trial and error, and just continued endurance, I guess.
Completely right.
Mm.
I used to say, and I still say it to this day, that if you're being reactive, you're not actually able to work on your business. If
Yeah.
you're reactive to things, you're not able to work on your business. If you're proactive, you're able to grow. And so that's the mindset I have is like in order to shift to being more proactive with things you do, your mindset, everything like that, you need to plan more. And in order to plan more, you need to be organized so you can be efficient. Be efficient with your time. Like you said, I made over $100,000 last year in the business. And
Fantastic.
that was me working still full time
Yeah.
January through August. And
Yeah.
then my husband was in a bad car accident in September. And it's February now.
Yeah.
He just went back to work. And
Yeah.
so life happened. And so like I'm extremely proud of that. And I have a lot of everything I achieved last year
Mhm.
has a little bit to do with me, but it's a lot to do with the people I surrounded myself with between my friends, my families, my
Right.
coworkers, my employees,
Yes.
my business friends, my
Yeah.
referral
Yeah.
partners, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic. Well, I'm so excited to see what's next for you. This is wonderful. You're already scaling up.
I'm working on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now I'm working on, I've got somebody who's training up to, lead jobs on their own. I'm in the process of trying to plan a convention-y sort of thing, which I'm
Yeah.
calling the Sort Summit for other professional organizers.
I saw that. I was
Again,
like, oh my God, I'm in love. It's so clever. It's an acronym. So SORT stands for.
oh God, now you're going to quiz me on this. Okay. It is, I can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay. Well,
It
I'll
is
put it in the show notes.
It is
Systems.
systems, organizing, relationships, and teams.
Cool.
So, and that's kind of what I want the whole summit to be a part of. There's organizers reach. For those who don't know, professional organizers, there are organizing retreats out there where us crazy professional organizers meet up and hang out and talk business.
Yeah.
And I love going to those. I love being a part of other people in the community and being able to share ideas, share what I do, share what they do, figure out, what I could be doing better. And the one thing I always come back on is all the retreats are always really expensive. They're in amazing places and they're done very well. Don't get me wrong. But I didn't want to do that. So I wanted to host one that was more team-based, which is very different from any of the other ones that I go to, because I have a team and I know other organizers have a team. And I know if I was an organizing employee, it would be so cool to go to a convention like that and interact in a team format with the other members of my team.
Awesome.
So I'm bringing something like that forward where there's a lot of focus on collaborating within the organizer community as well as within your own communities when you go back home, because I do so much of that. And that is how I've been able to get myself to where I'm at now, is by collaborating with my community.
Super, super smart. So you may as well drop your handles, even though I'll put them in the show notes. And if there's anything that you want to promote, please share with our listeners.
So you can find me Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Easy Life Organizing. It's the same on all of them. I don't post TikTok very often, but I'm trying to get back into it. My website's easylifeorganizing.com. You can set up consultations with me, learn more about me there. You can always message or call me as well. Some things that are coming up. Let's see here. Next week, I get to do my 10-minute presentation in front of one of my networking groups where I get to tell them about myself and what we do, which is really fun.
Awesome.
Let's see here. It is February. I've got a decluttering class I'm doing later in the month this month at a local 55 and over community. I've got March, I've got, I think, one other speaking engagement. But what's really fun is May, I am going down to Florida to be a part of a organizers retreat down there with and that's going to be a whole week-long thing for me, and it's going to be so amazing to be able to connect with not only other organizers that I can connect with where we're at, but even organizers who are above me and where I want to be, and so I can learn from them. So I'm very excited about that.
Beautiful.
I've got a junk drawer event I'm trying to plan in April as well, and it'll be so much fun.
Lots of stuff, lots of just beautiful, aligned, creative, opportunity making, right?
Right. And so I guess my last little plug then for this would be I do have an online community. So you can follow me on social media publicly for free and everything. If you want to get more detailed, more very niche down, very specific help with organizing throughout the year. I do challenges in this VIP community. We talk about stuff. You get special exclusive content, like my video podcasts I do with certain people in my community as well. And you get access to me to ask me very pointed questions as well, which is really interesting and unique. And it's just $5 a month to join that Facebook Live community.
Oh, yeah,
a lot.
yeah, perfect. Perfect, right? That's invaluable, but it just creates a bit more accountability and a bit of leverage. Yeah, fantastic. Amanda, you're rocking it. I'm so glad that we got to
I'm so
connect.
excited to be a part of your community now too.
Thank you. Thanks so much for your time. Again, lots of love. This has been so uplifting for me. And I look forward to watching you continue to reach for the stars in 2023.
Thank you so much.